Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Let Us Tell You podcast. I'm here with the usual gang, Lazarus, Noemi, and we have a guest for the day.
Yeah.
Hello.
Let's have the guests introduce themselves. Why not?
Hello everybody. My name is Valryia Starfyre. I am a Grand Admiral Vtuber hailing from Malaysia. Well, technically, it's Malaysia in this Earth. I was from Mayflower Harbor on my previous Earth. But yes, pleasure to meet everyone and pleasure to be here.
Awesome!
Welcome.
Clap. I don't think you guys can hear the clap.
Yeah, noise suppression.
All right, so for today we're actually focusing more on what Valryia knows more about is there's this community within the Malaysian Vtuber called the MyVT community. Am I right?
To clarify that, MyVT is more of a community dedicated to introducing Malaysian VTubers to each other, especially because the idea behind the entire community on its own stemmed from roughly around 10 people or so, myself included. Because I was actually approached by Asu. You might know him as the only superhero VTuber on the net right now, or also known as VTuber Asu, and he would be the one of the pioneers and the creator of this because he wants to get to know many other Malaysian VTubers. And since it was a growing community at the time, there was only roughly 20 of us by the time I joined in. But now, roughly around 2 years later, I can safe to say it has grown to be quite an amazing bunch because now we have almost 400 members and counting.
Wow.
No, if you think about that, that's
Yeah.
about 400 Malaysian
crazy.
VTubers that exist. Or more.
That's huge. That's
Yes.
a lot of content creators.
The best part about it all, and also the most scariest part of it all, is the fact that nobody realizes that we didn't count the Chinese.
Oh, wait,
Malaysian
what?
Oh,
VTubers.
wow.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yes. There is so much more behind the scenes that I literally wasn't able to discover only until relatively recently as well, for that matter. I only got to know them
MyVT is
around
only the English.
mid of...
Only the English side.
It includes many of the Chinese side already, but the thing is, it's a whole nother
Oh,
iceberg that I
shit.
had
That is
did not
crazy,
expect.
man. That's crazy.
So if I want to give a rough estimate, I would say 600 to 700 total, perhaps.
Wow.
I could be wrong. My guess could be very, very much way lower than usual, or it could be way much higher than usual.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure.
So
But
basically, these
yeah.
are the indie Malaysian VTubers, be it English and Chinese. 600 plus. That's quite a bit, man.
You know, if you think about it, right?
yes,
Because the most of the VTubers that we are known of is mostly from YouTube and Twitch. You have to forget
Yeah.
about there's Facebook, there's Bilibili.
Oh yeah, Billy.
There's Bilibili, and I think most of these Chinese VTubers also use Bilibili. So maybe that's why it's hard to find them. Or at least for our side.
yes.
Or maybe even
Yeah,
maybe
actually
even the
correct.
Chinese TikTok like Douyin, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, another iceberg altogether.
Oh, crap. Holy.
Oh, I do hope you guys understand that this number that is in the MyVT community right now is also not concrete because we also have take it to great effect to make sure that other people's VTuber personas are also kept private. So in case they don't want to disclose themselves Malaysian, we respect their wishes and we do not bring them over to the MyVT community. But we do still interact with them in one form or
I see.
another, mostly through like messages and stuff or collabs. The idea is to obviously connect Malaysian VTubers because back then we don't know who our kind was. We were surrounded by Filipinos, Indonesian, Singaporeans to a certain extent even. Funnily enough, I was also mistaken as a Filipino VTuber at one point because there were just so many Filipino VTubers and all my friends at one point were just Filipino VTubers that they all just assumed that I was apparently
Okay.
one of
To
them.
be fair, your accent sound could pass off a little bit as a Filipino accent to an extent because I've interacted with like Filipinos quite a bit, so like there I can see why they say so.
Yes, but
Yeah.
also no. Because when I first started out VTubing, I never had a voice. I was a mute
Oh.
VTuber. I
Oh.
streamed without because I didn't have a
Oh
proper
wow.
mic. I actually streamed without a mic and I got to this high only roughly around last year on June.
Wow.
I actually revealed my voice to
Wow,
the
voice
general
review. Let's
public.
go.
Oh no, it's legit. It's legit.
Quite literally.
Dang, man.
Yeah, no idea.
It is legit.
It's
It is legit.
Voice reveal is legit. Man, that's awesome. Like I always had this idea because I always thought like my VT community was like I don't like put it into a category of like it's an agency or anything. I always thought of it more like a catalog. You get it? So it's like all the Malaysian VTubers.
You're kind of half right
Yeah,
as
it's
well. You're kind of half correct as
It's like
well.
a place where you know who are the existing VTubers in Malaysia themselves, and it's ever growing.
We know the talents. We know the people. We know the talents. We know their skills, and we know how to connect one of each other in case we need it. Especially in the regards of making music videos. Let's say, I could introduce you to someone like Hiramafu or Baka Kiyosaki, who are both prominent in singing themselves and also mixing for relatively cheap and local pricing. Of course, there is many different methods of linking each other. Like for example, Kohi and Furaisen, they're the dynamic duo of Malaysia when it comes to live 2D because they are absolutely amazing at their jobs. They were pioneers for their time into live 2D, and Sen is literally drawing for HoloLive. What more can you say?
It's a huge thing. Like people just don't know that the Malaysian VTuber is actually like this big, because we always like it's always been covered up by all this HoloLive, Ninja Sanji, this kind of thing, and we have so much talent just within our own country that people just like kind of like purposely closing their eyes off it.
Or they're just not aware because to be
Yeah,
fair,
I wouldn't say I blame
Yeah.
them though. I wouldn't say I blame the viewers specifically for this sort of thing because frankly, when I hopped in, that was already 50 and I didn't even realize that was 50. I only thought that was 10, myself included. So when I came in the MyVT community and that was already 20, I was shocked. And then when I realized that I wasn't even in the top 20 who debuted in Malaysia, I found somebody who was literally debuted on 2017. That was another shock in its own right.
Man, and here I thought like when I first found Acacia for the first time, like wow, we have Malaysian VTubers. Interesting.
Acacia is a late,
because
late one. I will have to admit.
I only knew about Acacia at the beginning, and then until I realized like, hold up, there's another one called Noemi, and then there's like, I think right after that I just found Akino Maria, and then I found Val, and then from there it just like expanded like insane.
Acacia and I came from the boom that happened after Hollow EN.
I think that's
yes.
We're somewhat later than the other the first babies.
Like even in my regard, okay, we have a splitting system for when people debut, we categorize them as quote unquote generations.
Huh?
But the reason why we quote them as generations is to easily just show who debuted at
which era,
which half of the year, because each generation is separated by half a year. So in my scenario, I am generation 3 in MyVT because I have debuted on the 11th of June 2020. So 2 years ago.
Wow.
So if somebody, let's say, debuted around the same time as me, like on June something, but for 2021, they will be generation 5, and then next month will be generation 7, and generation 6, and so on and so forth.
Acacia and I is Gen 4 then.
Because you debuted around around 6 months after mine, is it?
Yeah.
Then
I was November 2020.
Oh.
Yes, that will make you as generation 4.
Wow, this is this is so cool if you think about it.
Yeah, it's like
we actually have a full-on list. But it's incredibly hard to maintain because only a few representatives are actually looking at the website, looking at the other VTubers. They are recording them down for future references and whatnot. And I think me and a bunch of others, the founders as well, are doing their best to keep it updated. But there's only so much we can do as people, especially without because we also do preliminary screening. We actually watch their streams. We actually hop onto other people's Twitch or other people's YouTube, depending on whichever platforms their preference, and then we see what they're doing. Whether it be they're putting out good content, or if they are, no offense, just Genshin streamers.
Well, I mean, Genshin is big.
Genshin is too overloaded. And at this point, I cannot even really say that it's content anymore. It's just chatting stream with It's just a just chatting stream.
Honestly, not gonna lie, I already quit Genshin. I find it kind of stale already.
I feel like it's like a just chatting stream in
Yeah.
disguise, you know?
It's kind of like
Exactly.
Minecraft.
Exactly.
In that same
And there's
realm.
nothing wrong with just chatting, honestly. It's just, you know, it's its own
Yes,
content.
there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just mildly miffed that that's all they do though. Like, you know how as a creator you want to be able to create a variety of content, not to just say you just stick into your own bubble or you do whatever's that popular. You just do whatever you want, provided you're constantly making new, unique content for yourself, right? To make yourself stand out. But then here I am hearing people be like, why am I not popular? The only games to stream are literally Genshin. How can you get popular? You know?
And that's on them. That's on them already.
Exactly. And the idea why we do preliminary filters is because there's quite a number of people out there. Back when we first started out MyVT, we were inviting plenty of Malaysians, let's be real. But a lot of the Malaysians that we did invite at the time were pre-debuts. And you know a meme about pre-debuts? They never
Yeah,
debut.
they never debut.
Exactly. They never debut or they take absolutely forever to debut. And then the moment they do debut, they realize that computers are actually
Oh, feels
useless.
bad.
Yeah.
Man, now that I think about it, right, the way I treat pre-debuts are like V-tweeters.
You might as well.
Yeah,
Kinda.
because that's what
You
it
might as
feels
well.
like, you know.
I do not mean to be mean to all of them. I'm pretty sure some of them have their really good reasons as to why they're pre-debut for so long. But it becomes a
I
bit
mean,
of
we're
a
saying about a
farce.
small minority group of within that pre-debut group.
Yes. Yeah, that's why we do a bit of preliminary filtering as well.
Like the one that pissed me off the most is that you do not even have a model, you do not have content, you don't have a channel or anything, and then you just come out saying, "All right, guys, I'm gonna be a VTuber soon. I'm just gonna say right now, here's my character. It is like a really rough drawing of their character.
Oh my god, when they use Pixiv.
Oh no, yeah, especially you know how like there's a Pixiv
you
where
can
you
like
edit the pictures.
yeah, dude, I hate those.
You know what's the
Oh,
funny thing?
fuck.
They're not allowed to use those PNGs.
Yeah, you don't have commercial rights. You don't get to do that.
You know what this is sounding like to me because because I am familiar with the crypto side. It sounds like those new shit coins that are
yes.
coming up and they're
Yes.
promising you all the big things, but they end up like rugging you and not doing anything or just like running away with your money.
That's
man.
just a side effect of every bandwagon.
Man.
VTubers at one point were a bandwagon, so
Fair.
it happened at one point. Now it's a lot less. Granted, because now we have plenty of tools to actually put out your character out there. Like for example, Vroid Studio. Vroid Studio is literally one of the
Yep.
best tools to use.
There's no excuse.
If you are a beginner, don't want to spend $1 million for a good Live 3D character, and you just want to stream as a VTuber. You don't have any other motivations. You just want to stream as a VTuber.
Man, I just can't think about it when Noemi mentioned about the Pixiv art drawings and then like they edited it and just used it as profile pictures. They might as well just be NFT bros at that point.
Yeah, right. Or right click save JPEG.
Oh. I cannot.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think let's go jump into a couple of quick questions for Val first.
Sure.
So let's just start with something like really simple, like how we always do with the other both Acacia and Noemi during the previous episode. I'm just gonna ask you, how did you start as a VTuber? What was the story behind it?
Okay, believe it or not, the method how I became a VTuber was quite surprising because I was just a frequenter of VTubers in general before that, because the VTubing scene in the US was a niche. It was a very small niche. There were like not many people outside of like the big four, which were like Iron Mouse, Zentrea. Even back then, they were like really big VTubers. But before then, there was not many other VTubers. So the community was pretty small. And back then, we even didn't have the VTuber tag on both Twitch and on Twitter. Or rather, Twitch, Twitter, and on YouTube. It was restricted only to VTubers in JP. Because, they have their own communities and whatnot. So finding one was very difficult. And the fact that you actually managed to find one which is making relatively good content in the get-go is even more rarer. So I was in one of their communities, and one of their members was actually making 3D models, like for free, because they think that it will be a good avenue to earn money from in the future. That was some serious foresight for them. Honestly, that was some serious foresight for them. Because
5 hit big brain moves.
quite literally. Because like now, what happened was that she was looking for people who wanted to volunteer for this sort of thing. But nobody volunteered because they thought, VTuber is a waste of time. I'd rather just watch this VTuber and be done with it, Or VTubing is weird, you're now suddenly becoming an anime girl or an anime boy in front of a TV screen when you can just use your camera. Why go through the extra trouble for all these things, right? So, me and my friend, I'm going to disclose her name as Fortuna for the time being. Fortuna and I just literally took the opportunity, asked her to create a model, and that's how Val 1.0 basically showed up. It was a very box standard model, like same face syndrome 3D model, I have to admit. But at that point, it was better than nothing. I was able to start out as a VTuber like that. Of course, I was a mute VTuber because, I was a mute VTuber because I wasn't that confident in my own voice. I also had very horrible headphone mics. So I'd rather not deal with that nonsense. So I rather just leave it mute. And I just communicated with many people through Twitter and through what would you call it? The in-game chat on Twitch, really. I was a bit luckier compared to many other VTubers because at that point I already had existing connections with other Twitch streamers. Like for example, Tematown, Asu, MyVT, if you might recognize them, any names like those. I even knew Careless and Raina long before they were VTubers for that matter as well. And they are they were working in Merryweather for like the longest time. And yeah, so some of them who did recognize me, they did end up supporting me, and I did. Without them, I honestly wouldn't be like this high up in this community. I also have to give MyVT a bunch of credit because around the time of August, I really was trying to find from other Malaysian VTubers. And then one of the founders, by the name of Eddie, literally came into my DM and was telling me on how there was a list of Malaysians that he was compiling. A list of Malaysian VTubers that he was compiling. And he asked if I want to be one of the first people in their community.
Wow.
Of course, who wouldn't say yes to this kind of opportunity?
Yeah.
After all. And that is how I met MyVT as well. I mean, that was like the beginning arc, really, of my story as a VTuber. Sure, there was a bunch of ups and downs. Like, for example, I was bullied by a bunch of people because I was mute.
Yeah.
People were constantly jumping on me and asking me, hey, why are you mute? Review your voice already. Or like, this guy is probably just some 40-year-old guy behind a computer screen or something like that.
Honestly, yeah.
The normal stereotypes, the normal stereotypes. Every anime girl is somehow a guy.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, they're not wrong. Partially because I'm a guy in real life, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It sometimes discouraged me, but this kind of discouragement also ended up becoming a two-sided coin. Because the good side of the coin was that I actually ended up getting recognition from other sources. Namely, first it was a clickbait news agency. Would you call it an agency? I don't know. It's
News
like a
website,
clickbait
maybe.
news website. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you guys know, but if you're Malaysian, you might know Chili Sauce.
Oh.
Infamous on Facebook. Yeah. Myself, Linear Vampire, and one more Malaysian was featured there. And we were all also featured on IGN SEA as well.
Oh.
During our early days, back when
Oh.
VTubing was very small. Back then, they didn't expect Southeast Asians to actually have VTubers, but bam, here we were. So that's why they took the opportunity to interview us. I was very honored by it all. And now, 2 years in, safely saying that everything is more or less a cruise at this point.
Damn.
Wow.
We have already gotten used to our lives as VTubers for the most part. And yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I actually did find out about you mainly because of that news. It circulated in Reddit.
Yeah.
That's how I found out. It was on legit. It was legit on our Malaysia,
I was surprised that it circulated
Wow.
around Reddit.
Yeah, it was on our Malaysia.
I was surprised it was on our Malaysia, I was actually honestly surprised when it was on our session
then-
Malaysia.
That's
It was a tweet.
crazy.
I remember that you did. I'm not gonna say out the tweet, but it was that tweet, and then I saw the comments saying that they're gonna show you a lot of love. And at the same time, I happened to find that you were streaming, so that's how I found out about you. It was, I don't know, choke out with coincidence, I guess, but that was I don't know if you call that a fortunate event, but it definitely shed some light that Malaysian VTubers are an existing thing.
yeah, they are already have been an existing thing for quite some time. And honestly, like, even if like the events that have gave way to my rise were not exactly the most cleanest of all things, the fact that at least more eyes are turning to Malaysia as an actual place that, you know, people do have VTubers, anime does have some love here.
Yep.
People actually do enjoy being like someone that, like, because this is a bit of a country which is like very anti-creative in some way, because like a lot of
I
the,
agree. No, I honestly agree with that.
yeah, because like everyone wants to go into the science stream, everyone wants to become a doctor, lawyer, all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, ish
But they don't want to become an artist. They don't want to. Artists are looked down on. Creators are looked down on horrendously. But at least now,
Especially like
now
during-
people appreciate, and especially now with COVID hitting, people appreciate creators a lot more. Content creators.
Yeah.
Because especially now Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, they are literally the only people who will give you your entertainment that you so crave when TV shows cannot, and you cannot go outside to watch anything else.
Exactly.
Like, for example, you want to go to the cinemas, you cannot. COVID arrived. You want to go and talk with your friends? No, COVID. You want to do an anime convention? No, COVID. Literally, you cannot do anything for almost 2 years because of COVID. And who basically was the people who, I like to think of VTubers as like this. Some of the people who help people out to make people smile and to make a little home on the internet that people can be welcome to enter. And I like to say MyVT was more or less a home for the Malaysian VTuber community. And if it was, then I would say this mission was more or less a success on my part.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Actually, I've got a question, Val. How, because like you mentioned about how you were being a mute VTubing streamer at first. Because like the idea of VTubers, because again, we are already behind. You guys are already behind a model, and then if you're a mute, right? So like, how did the transition occur? Like when you finally got like the proper hardware, like how was the reception, and then I would assume that there will be a boost in viewership as well, and also interaction, right? How did the transition
The
happen for
opposite,
you?
actually.
Oh,
The actual opposite.
oh, okay.
Because like, I don't know why, but they had some of my current community or like past community had a misconception that I was actually a female the entire time, even though I was clearly stated that I was a guy or at least a non-binary many times. They should have braced for the impact or something on those lines, but they didn't. And so because of that, the viewership dropped. But it didn't faze me nonetheless. It made my collabers more comfortable with me as a whole. So let's just say, if I were to stream collabs with people, there was no longer the burden of them having to pay attention to not just their own chat, should they be streaming, but also my chat and also my own text messages popping up and then responding to them. See?
All right.
So it was basically, I basically wanted to make it easier for my collabers as well, out of consideration. And I just felt that at this point it's unsustainable if I wanted to be a mute VTuber.
Yeah.
Because I really have tried multiple different options. I
Yeah.
tried voice changers. I cringed at myself the moment I
Oh.
listened to myself in a voice changer. The second thing is that I tried to find the tools needed to be success. Like, for example, I don't know if you know this, but two big VTubers who are actually still mute until today are Comdos Art and Zentrea. They both are mute, but they use text to speech. I want to know what software they use.
Oh.
I've been asking them forever, all the way up to now, what they use. In the light that maybe I can use it for my own stream. But then I'm tiny, so they don't bat an eyelash to me. Not like I don't blame them or anything.
Darn. But what you sound like is like you ideally you would want to use TTS, or would
Yes.
you? Okay. Yeah.
Because like, if it helps me maintain a quote unquote image of a person, then I guess it makes sense, you know? Because everyone nowadays regard VTubers as not only just a persona, but like a straight up voice acting job.
Yeah.
So people are expected to have a voice for the certain character. I still get comments how people say, oh, my model doesn't fit the voice. And I get that a lot. But I don't care anymore at this point. I don't care anymore. But yeah, it still feels stifling that maybe your growth can be attributed to either your voice, how you act on stream, your personality, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, understandable. So actually, because like what I'm getting is because like when you're able to to utilize the TTS, you're able to play this character and you're still able to maintain your own self as well. So you're able to play the character with the tool of the TTS, which is something that you see would be very helpful for you, right?
Yep.
All right, that's
Because
cool.
the thing is, I've been doing that already, like not to say TTS wise, but I did that with my mute character because I was just basically, when I was
Yeah.
muted, I was just being myself in text chat. I spoke the same way I would right now, except in chat form. So maybe it was a bit simplified. A bit simplified because I need to type ridiculously quickly. But I did respond to everybody. I still had the same personality as I did back then, 2 years ago. I still had the same personality. I'm still the person who just goes out, talks to people, asks them if they want to collab, joins in a collab, doesn't try to make it as least troublesome as possible for them, constantly do it over and over and over again. Just like almost every other VTuber at that point.
All right.
And at some point in the VTubing journey, Val as a whole more or less becomes a part of my personality already.
Yeah.
Or, mixes into my personality.
Mhm.
That is actually so hard to distinguish between my online life and my real life right now.
Yeah.
I think we all go through that phase. It's like where our online personality also becomes our real life, and our real life also becomes our own personality. Because I feel like VTubers also have this kind of thing. Because I remember we had a chat back then with the other VTubers, and they always said like the way they talk in like through stream now influence how they actually talk in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, when you've been stuck online, looking at a screen for basically 2 years, you eventually have words like POG or something
Oh
stuck like that.
God.
We were
Yeah.
just talking about this, right, Noemi, when we went out the other day, the few of us.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You're just gonna wonder somehow, like the other day where I literally just went out to touch grass. I went out to touch grass and I hear kids were scrolling down the street screaming "Pop," and I'm like,
No, Noemi, tell them. Yeah.
no, I mean it. I literally just stepped out of my house, touched some grass to post on Twitter to just put it as a meme, and then there's this guy screeching down the road on the scooter screaming "Pop" at the top of his lungs. I'm like, huh. So this is so Twitch is used in Malaysia, I guess.
Noemi, you want to share with us about like what what interaction you had with your boyfriend about Twitch emotes? I think you were
All right, so it's not really Twitch emotes, but
yeah.
because like Twitch
Lingo.
has kind of gotten into my system. So whenever he does something cute or kind of flirts with me, I don't know how to respond. My brain kind of goes empty, and the only thing I've ever functioned and like managed to say out is sheesh.
Yes,
like,
the classic
oh my God,
sheesh.
you look so cute today, and I'll be like, sheesh.
I
It
mean,
ruins everything.
welcome to mother life, I guess.
Yeah.
Like he won two tourneys, like two attorney today basically, and then like instead of saying oh congratulations, I was like hug.
Literally pogging hard, man.
Oh my God.
But not gonna lie though, VTuber community in Twitch, you sometimes learn lingo which is actually pretty polite for all things considered. Like for example, when you're done with something, like okay, let's say Noemi, you stream for let's say 5 to 6 hours and then you finish
Yes.
stream. Everyone will say something like
Otsu.
"Otsu" or something like that, right? Yes.
Thank you for
Ironically,
the
that will
stream.
become one of the very good habits that picked up by a lot of us.
There's a
We'll
lot of
just say
polite things
"Otsu"
I've
or be
picked
like
up.
"Good work today" or something like that,
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
someone finishes work, I'll be like, oh, good job.
Yeah.
Please get rested. I never say that in real life. I would, bro. If someone
Nobody
came back
would say
from
that in
work,
real
I'll be
life,
like, Lamau. But you
Be
come
like-
back from work and then you enter my stream, tell me you finished work. I'll be like, good job today. You did so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like, good job doing your work. Like,
Or like, I just finished chores. I was like, oh my God, good job. That's great.
I mean,
True,
hey,
true.
doing chores is still definitely appreciative topic. There are still some people who don't know how to do chores.
True.
Despite being like 30 years old or above. Brr. Anyways, that's interesting how like the lingo here in Twitch or like side effect from streaming, VTubing, yada yada yada, they somehow still like roll back to us and sometimes turn out for the better or for the cringy. We shall see.
All right, so we just entered the first ever game segment of the episode. of Let Us Have a Podcast. So this is the part where usually whenever we get new guests in, we always have a game segment with them in between episodes. Keeps things fresh. So for the first game will be my game, which I call it Azakti 20 Questions.
Reported.
What?
Hate it.
Okay, so Azakti 20 Questions is a game where I will ask the guest 20 questions and they will have to answer it as fast as they can. And so we'll tally their time, and then whoever beats first place can make me tweet anything on my Twitter, as long as it doesn't get me cancelled. Sounds good, everybody?
All good.
Mhm. Alright.
Alright. So the record currently is 45 seconds
By yours truly.
by Noemi.
I have a feeling that I'm never gonna be fulfilled.
I'm teabagging, but you can't see it.
Oh man.
Damn.
Okay. So are you ready? Well,
Yep.
I'm gonna ask you 20 questions and you're gonna give me as fast as you can.
Yep. Let's go.
Are you ready? Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite sports?
Football.
Favorite music genre?
Pop. J-pop.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Favorite school subject?
Ironically, history.
Hmm.
Android or Apple?
Android.
Indoors or outdoors?
Indoors.
Cola or Pepsi?
Neither.
McD or KFC?
Neither.
Coffee or tea?
T.
PC or console?
PC.
Rainy or sunny weather?
Rainy.
Rice or noodles?
Rice.
Pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple.
Mee goreng or nasi lemak?
Nasi lemak.
Horror or comedy?
Horror.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
City or nature?
City.
Western comics or Japanese manga?
Manga.
Unpopular opinion?
Well, quite frankly. Oh, okay, this is a bit difficult. Unpopular opinion. More representation is worse than good representation. There we go.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
What the heck? What?
I agree.
I need context for that.
Okay, wait. So, how long was it first? So we know.
1.1.
Shit, so
uh,
bad. Get good.
No, that,
I mean, I
that
did
right
say
there.
I was not gonna beat it anyways. The last part I started as well, so.
Yeah. No, but that right there, that's a very good point. You want to elaborate that, Val?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone is all talking about how, let's just say, okay, everyone's all raving about having Asians being represented in movies and all that stuff. Black men movies and all that. And I'm like, sure, it's nice, but your representation needs to be better than throwaway characters.
Yes.
Have good representation like Crazy Rich Asians. That is good representation of
Oh, yeah.
extremely rich
Yeah.
Asians. But
Yeah.
they're not representation of Asians as a whole. Some of them do relate to Asians, some of them don't, because different stratospheres of how rich you are can actually determine where you are as what status and all that. But there is such thing like familiar blood, the Chinese importance of heritage, yada yada yada. Then there's also something like this. If you were to ask me, what is one case of more representation that you just wish never existed? I would just say this simply. Star Wars 789. Absolutely horrendous representation. They have an Asian character.
Oh.
They have a fat Asian character who existed to be comedy material. They have a Asian character who died within the first 20 minutes. Not first 20 minutes, first 10 minutes of the show. Then what else? They have a black man who somehow knows how to use a lightsaber. How does that work? I don't know. They have a female lead who is somehow more powerful than Luke Skywalker just because he exists. Just because they exist, and I'm just confused.
Yeah.
What's the point of having more people, or what's the point of having more underrepresented people into movies when all they serve is to ruin the plot that was already established beforehand? For example, in Disney. What's the point? Why introduce a bunch of random things for the sake of representation? I mean, come on. Have you seen Raya? Have you seen Raya?
Oh, I heard
They
about that.
literally simplified 200 plus races unique races, mind you, not just in Malaysia, but Malaysia, Indonesia, Filipino, and otherwise, 200 plus races condensed into literally five families. Am I, excuse me?
Okay, like the one I didn't watch, so I cannot say. But then like but your point about it, that like, you know, it's either you do it well or you don't do it at all. You just have to purposely shoehorn representation into everything. Like it
Exactly.
doesn't get, yeah, you don't have to, man.
And this might be a popular opinion though. In contrast to like saying this is an unpopular opinion. But Mulan live action, absolutely trash. Why on
It was
earth
so
would they
bad.
Oh,
I
so
didn't-
bad.
I didn't watch it, so
I as a
So
Chinese,
bad.
wanted to hurl at the fact that everything about that show was so bloody fake. It was insane.
It looked like a fan made video, honestly.
I don't know, man, but I've known about the Mulan story like before the whole Disney thing, and like even though Disney didn't really the animated one, it's not like super faithful to the actual story, but it's still good.
Yeah, I don't
The
care.
thing
I
is-
don't care if it's like
The true values were kept.
Yeah, I don't mind if you put like singing or the story isn't that real, but the live action, my god, you just despise yourself.
Yeah, like in my point of view, Disney changing movies to fit a bit more family-friendly theme and adding more fantasy elements into it, I do not care. Those are good, especially if you pull it off well. Pull it off
Yeah.
well in a way that it stays true to the original storyline in terms of values. What did Mulan learn in the animated film? Mulan learned to know that basically you don't have to be restricted by your gender to be a man. She's literally a woman, but is a better man than actual man. Because she literally uses a woman's advantage, her brains.
Yep.
Men and women are different, and there's nothing wrong with that. And men can do what women do, and women can do what men do. There's no big deal to it. It just takes effort to put one in then another people's position, and that's fine. Effort builds good character. Mulan, live action film, she was OP from the get-go, meaning her entire training arc was worthless. Or her just stomping on other men, which was kind of like, okay.
Man, I want to clip what Val just said. Like, the Mulan used what all men didn't use, the brain.
I mean, come on, man. You know what's the staple of you know what's the staple of Mulan's struggle? Rising up that pole. Every man tried to climb it with brute force. They didn't use their brain, did they? Mulan was like pointing. She had one mortar left and she was trying to fight an army of Mongols. How to defeat them? There was only one bullet. She used the brain. When every other man would just probably fire at the thing hopelessly into the army, probably killing like one or two people. She killed an entire army because she shot into a mountain, which was a quote-unquote miss, by the way, for men.
Wait, I think we should have mentioned spoiler alert, but it's okay.
It's Mulan. If you
Everybody
haven't
watched
watched it by now,
Come on, everyone watched Mulan.
Well,
there's
how
like
many,
a
how many years
3
ago was
month
that?
grace period. All right, that's it.
I feel like it's an unpopular opinion on its own right for somebody who has not watched Mulan, but instead watched the Mulan live action. That's an even
Oh,
more
I will
unpopular
have to
opinion.
say, I will have to say your unpopular opinion isn't exactly unpopular because I feel like it should be popular.
I mean, whether or not
I
it
think
should be
people should
popular,
know.
whether it should be popular or not, is a whole nother story.
I'll be honest, representation, this whole bullshit about representation shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know,
representation.
man.
No, representation matters. It brings light to forth, like it brings forth the lives of many different people that many people don't understand because they just put Westerners in place of actual people, right? So when you put them in the, let's just say, when you put a Westerner socks in an Eastern role, can they exactly fulfill it 100%? Not exactly, because there's a bunch of cultural niches that have to be explored. That's why representation is needed. The main problem is that more representation doesn't exactly mean good representation overall. There's a big difference in my wording here when I say that.
I think for me, it's just when representation is required, that means segregation is around. It's not that I don't like representation, it's just that I don't think there should be segregation in the first place to require a representation.
Yeah, not
To each their
necessarily.
own.
But I mean, it's more of like I think the idea of like if you're talking about cultural representation in terms of entertainment, I mean it's just to show like what's the uniqueness of like the different culture. That's why that's what makes the human race really interesting. Like let's just say like I don't know much about say African culture, and to find out more from let's just say my African friends or from an African movie, it will like it makes me find out more about their culture, which is cool lah. And it's because it's impossible for me growing up in Malaysia to know much about it through like just day to day, unless I really meet an African friend, which I know a few. But yeah, so that's why in a sense it's important in terms to understand the different cultures all around lah.
Yes, Lazarus is pretty correct on that note. Like,
Mhm.
currently
but
it's an
that's-
age of
yeah.
upheaval. It's an age of globalization. Everybody knows everybody. And quite frankly, the things get quite muddled in a way that so like sure, you say that representation might not be needed, but without representation, we're gonna get stereotypes like, oh, Chinese people love maths. But no, I freaking hate maths. You know? I
Yeah.
absolutely despise maths. I even failed maths before, okay?
And I like maths not because I'm Chinese.
If that apparently disqualified me as Asian, I guess I'm disqualified as an Asian by default then. Holy crap.
Yeah, I like math not because I'm Chinese. What the heck? Imagine like it's in your DNA. You must like math.
Oh, but there's one thing that sort of like amplifies the stereotype because math is actually basic math should be easier in Mandarin because of how the words are, because like how like
Counting. Yes, counting is easier
counting
in
is way
Mandarin.
easier in Mandarin just because of that. But that's just it just so happens lah. But whether or not people are good at math is a different thing. But
Whole
anyways,
different ball
so
game. Whole different ball game.
it is indeed. Wow, that
Anyways.
was interesting. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we've got another game to play. So this one is a bit more on the juicy side. I'm gonna
Okay.
yoink and twist a little bit from actually Acacia because this is actually her game for the podcast. But I think it'll be good for today. So let's move on to the next thing for Val today. We have a 2 truths 1 lie. So Val, could you spill the tea on what is your truths and lie?
Okay. The 2 truths and 1 lie. There was actually at one point 2 people using my VTuber avatar. There was at one point I was also thinking of rebranding altogether and actually almost entered the company. And the last one was that I got isekai nearly 5 times.
Oh, wait.
I nearly got isekai 5
Wait,
times.
what?
I nearly got isekai
Um,
5 times. Is what I
You
meant.
you mean you got nearly hit by truck kun, right?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my god. I thought you went to fight the demon not 5 times.
No, my bad.
Okay, sorry for our normie viewers. What it means that Val almost got hit by a truck or a bus 5 times.
Yep.
Wow.
Now
okay,
guess
okay.
now guess which one's the fake, which one's the real one.
I think the last one.
I think the rebranding is fake.
What was the first one? Sorry.
The first one was that 2 people actually used my VTuber model at one point.
I think that one's real. Oh wait, no.
I think that's right.
I think it's like a number issue. I think like
Yeah,
one
I feel
person used it.
Yeah, I feel that these are like the lie is a half truth at this point. So I'm
I
really
think the
guessing.
first one's fake.
Huh. Okay.
Huh.
Ki-
I'm actually convinced Noemi might be on to something. I'm gonna switch my
No,
answer.
don't do this.
I'm gonna say it's number 1.
I'm-
Yeah, you
If
have
I
a
win,
point
I
when
want to
you
be
say
solo,
it.
man. Come on.
I
No. I ain't giving you that.
I'm holding my conviction to truck kun. Okay. So what is it, Val? Spill the tea.
Okay. It was true that I did almost get isekai 5 times.
Oh damn.
Okay.
Okay.
In all of those
Wow.
scenarios, only my legs have broken. In
Oh
all of those
my
scenarios. Like I
gosh.
break my legs like 5 times, but it's fine.
Wow.
It was all it was either due to my own carelessness or I actually did manage to save someone's life while doing so. So that was actually
Wow.
pretty good. That was pretty good enough anyway.
Val, that's crazy, Val.
And believe it or not, remember when I was talking about Fortuna and how she was the one who egged me on to become a VTuber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She literally took on my model for a few streams when I was a mute VTuber.
Oh.
Oh.
Yep. And yeah, she took over a few streams of mine and when I was a mute VTuber. And she was actually interested in becoming a VTuber herself. You know? So that was the truth. The only lie was that I was thinking of a rebrand and that I was actually considered of going to a corpo at some point.
God damn it. So I had the one
Yeah.
song. Oh, God damn it.
As I through.
Oh, I threw the game so hard.
You got
Oh, man.
you actually almost got it correct. Like, the moment you got your hat, I was like, oh, you actually managed to sniff out the lie.
No, I blame it on Noemi for giving me a fake false
Hey,
hope.
no blames, okay? No blames. This is your own decision.
Oh,
my
no, no,
teammate,
it's like a-
teammate.
It's like a mobile game. You gotta blame
No,
someone.
no,
you can't
no,
blame
no.
yourself.
I got your back, Noemi. I got your back. It's his own fault.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think those are our games. So yeah, that's our game segment. Yeah. What were we talking about again? Landed property.
Yeah, like being a homeowner is really lots of things. And one thing is that if you're in a landed property, right, it's way better because like you get to avoid the possible drama that's in a condo. Because I stay in a like a low density condo lah, and also part of the committee as well. So like there's lots of things to do. Oh,
Yeah.
like have meetings and there's stuff like that. It's quite a handful,
I
to be
definitely can
honest.
agree with you on that note. Like the idea of me getting a landed home, the reason why is mostly because I really don't want to disturb my neighbors, especially because I am a streamer, I am a content creator. I would make a ton of noise whenever I'm alone, and I know for a fact that if I disturb my neighbors, like I would disturb residents of my current house, then yeah, they will basically evict me from the spot, you know, or submit a million complaints, which would honestly not let me flourish as a VTuber,
Yeah.
or as a content creator in general.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, now that we talk about that, I think the main reason that's stopping me from being a VTuber or a streamer anyway is because I don't live alone.
Yeah.
And I can imagine myself being this really loud guy. And like, let's say if I want to be a content creator, I want to be able to sing out my lungs out. I want to be able to, in the middle of the night, I can still do streams without my parents walking in, be like, "Oi, why you ever sleep?" That kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I totally get it because like actually even right now, like even though the house is like my brother and mine's, like the thing is right, like I am insecure of like doing vocal recordings in my house because like the neighbors can probably hear through the wall. I don't think my soundproofing is that good. Maybe I want to like invest into soundproofing, like then I'll be a bit more comfortable lah.
There are
Yeah.
many methods of doing soundproofing for relatively cheap pricing,
Yeah,
but that depends on how much effort you're willing to put into it.
true.
Like for me,
Yeah.
my room currently has some moderate soundproofing, albeit very, very basic soundproofing because I cannot edit a house, otherwise my family would crucify me.
Said that lah.
But yeah, I stream and like I have my brothers around, my mom's around sometimes. I just like I remember when I first started, she used to scold me all the time whenever I would rage in game and I start screaming or like slamming my table. And I would have to apologize. I'd be like, shit guys, I might have to stop stream. My mom
Oh.
is mad. But now I think she's accepted it and it's like
Yeah.
I'm actually quite surprised that you're still allowed to like, cause most of your stream are PG 18-ish. Yeah. So it's like sometimes you make jokes about haha dicks and I'm like, wait, is it your parents like find out about
she
that?
can't. She knows I have like PG-18 humor, but I don't think she points it out. I think she refuses
Oh
to
my
acknowledge
God.
it.
That is surprisingly wholesome.
After I've shown like a little bit more progress at my streaming, I think she became more lenient. Like when I first started out, I remember she was like very strict. Like, what's that? You're streaming for more than 2 hours? That's insane. Do you know how addicted you are? But now it's like, oh, she's on her 5th hour. It's fine. She'll eat later.
No, for the streaming hours, yeah, like Noemi's not my daughter for the duration of the stream. But afterwards, yeah, she's my.
She just ignores me. I don't exist.
That kind of
Yeah.
independence, to be honest with you, is the reason why I want to have to move out of my current place and move to a place where I own on my own. And to be fair with you, like here's the funny part about this. If I can somehow get 4 other people, whether it be VTubers, streamers, or otherwise, friends in general, to join in renting,
Streamer house.
Yeah.
they actually will consider making a streamer house.
Wow.
Let's go, streamer house, let's go.
Meaning like they actually won't sell the house. They actually give it as a investment of sorts.
Oh wow.
We'll still have to pay rent. But at this point, rent is cheaper than actually owning a house nowadays.
Yeah.
So
No, but funny thing though, actually on that point, did you, like I'm not sure if you guys know, but I didn't realize until like when they were doing all the moving, I didn't know that OTV at like every point of time they never bought their house. They were always renting.
Yeah. It's always been.
Yeah, they've always been renting.
Yeah, like,
Younger people nowadays.
yeah, all the huge ass houses.
Younger people nowadays do it. It's not good to stay in one place too long, especially for content creators as well,
Yeah,
because it kind of stifles their own creativity. By staying in the same room, you can end up doing the same things over and over again.
in a way lah.
Such was the case in COVID. When you're only scenario.
Yeah.
Also, there's another thing in the houses in America, right? If I'm not mistaken, the main reason why most people rent their houses is mainly because they want to avoid taxes for owning a house.
Oh yeah.
Land tax. That's true. That's true.
Wow. Actually, actually after all these years, right? Like learning so many things about America is like there's, from my POV, I feel that there's so many great things in America. At the same time, there's so many not great things in America. It's like you really get like the extreme of two
Man.
ends, to be honest.
You can
Yeah,
say the
yeah,
same
yeah,
for
yeah,
Malaysia,
exactly.
honestly.
Every country has its goods and its bads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But right now we can just focus on the fact that it's good, that we are lucky to be able to either have good houses or otherwise, good environments to either be streaming in, making content creation, or otherwise.
Yeah, it's true lah.
Like right now, I'm okay with my current setup. We don't interfere with each other's details because I'm also earning money on the side besides VTubing.
Mm.
But I just want to have a bit more independence in myself, and the house was basically the best way I can do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, generally, if like if you're able to afford it and whatnot, and it's cool, because sometimes, right, like that distance would also help in general, because like it makes the reunion all the more all the more like sweeter in a sense.
Yes,
So-
I agree.
So it doesn't mean that the distance is always bad. So again, it's always like case to case basis lah.
Honestly, I agree. It's not just familiar. It's not just familiar relationships. Even like relationship with your friends or even your significant other. It's always to keep a bit of
Yeah.
distance between each other.
Yes, some time off from people. Not seeing not gonna lie, not seeing the same face over and over again can actually be very refreshing for you and your mental state sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm
Yeah,
a person that picks up on like behavior like behavioral patterns very easily. So I develop a lot of like
Mhm,
pet
mhm.
peeves sometimes, especially if I don't like that person or like I'm impartial. I tend to get so like agitated by them, and it's just like it really shows
Oh,
at the end
wow.
of the day.
The nitpicks, it
it's-
happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Actually, now that we're on this topic, I'm kind of interested. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Wow, biggest pet peeve. I gotta think about it for a while first.
For me, the one that can come out of my head is that you know how we are having a meal when using your chopsticks,
Yeah.
and then you're trying to rearrange the chopsticks.
Yep.
I really don't like it when people like slam the chopsticks onto the table, just to to rebalance it.
Oh.
It's not slam it, like rebalance.
Oh,
so
you mean
it's
like they lightly tap it?
Yeah,
They
both.
lightly tap it on the table.
Yeah, I really don't like it. It's like how are you so sure that the table is clean? You tap it on the table, like sure, like even at home, like sure I wiped the table and everything already, but how are you so sure the cloth is clean? Then you just tap it and then you just dip into soup or something. I'm like, no.
No. Yeah.
No.
For me, my personal pet peeve would just frankly, people nitpicking on the tiny details. Like, I have a bunch of little habits. Everyone does, right? And there's this one nitpick that I get really annoyed with is ironically my parents' habit of nitpicking others.
Okay.
Yeah, because
on other people, I get it.
like
I
for
guess that
example, my
makes sense.
sister would come down and the first thing they would say to them is not a good morning or a hello, but instead, why on earth did you do A, B, or C? And I'm just like, could you not nitpick and just say good morning for once? Thank you.
Okay lah. I
Okay
guess
lah.
that's very different from the nitpick I had in mind lah.
More
Nit-
nagging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just nagging, right?
Yeah, that's
I guess you can put it. I guess I can put
Cause-
it nagging.
Yeah, but nitpicking in my head is kind of like you walk out from the movies and instead of talking about the good things of the movie, you just jump straight into like, you see this scene and this thing, they're like doing this, I don't like it. So weird. What's wrong with this framing and everything?
then my phrasing was wrong.
Especially as an
My
art
phrasing was
student,
definitely
you
wrong
kind of
there.
look at this a lot.
Yeah, I get it. So Noemi, you sort of like cringed just now a little bit when when Val said.
Yeah,
Val said.
'cause I nitpick a lot.
Oh,
Especially with people.
Yeah.
I try not to mention it. I know I'm very critical. I remember the first 3 months of like meeting my boyfriend, I started like finding out all his speech patterns and then like picking out things like, oh wow, he says this phrase a lot. It's not a bad thing. It's just because I'm so aware of the certain thing that he says a lot. I start to wait and hear. I used to do the same thing with like teachers too. So it's not just him. And I do the same thing with, friends and I meet them. It's not a bad thing, but because I'm so focused on it, it becomes a bad thing, if that makes sense.
No,
That's
we
interesting.
get that.
I think at this point, it might as well just be a personality already.
It is a part of a personality.
Yeah, I just like very focused on their patterns. Yeah.
Sorry, Val, you were saying?
No, I just said it was actually part of a patterns, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Like,
Yeah.
even if I say like I may dislike it, but in the end, it's just mostly parents nagging their children nonstop.
I think it's also the people. Like, when you hear your parent, like when your friends does it, you're like, oh no, it's okay. When you see your parents do it, like,
Why?
all right, I'm about to head out.
Why are you like this?
Why?
No, I mean I would technically do that for my friends as well. If they like, let's say, if my friends were to also start nagging me out of nowhere, or nagging my sister out of nowhere, or nagging like some other friend out of nowhere, I expect them to have a good reason of doing so, rather than just doing, for the freak of it.
Yeah, fair.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's true, lah. Because you don't want to always be nitpicking without any good reason. Right? You want to like make. There's a point. I mean, like not to say nitpicking. Like if you're talking about like some bad qualities, you want to address it with a point. Like you don't want to just like because
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm grateful that most of my friends are pretty pretty straight to the point on that lah. So like there's no like unreasonable nitpicking. But let's see, my pet peeves. I honestly, how do I? Actually, I don't know, because like I'm the type of person that like sort of like deals with it, like, oh, just deal with it sort of thing, just deal with it. Sometimes so often so that I suppress the stuff that annoys me. But I have to think a little bit more on what really annoys me. Let's see.
In that case, you're kind of just very tolerant. That's normal.
Yeah, but
some people have really high tolerances.
Yeah, but there are still stuff that pisses me off. Okay, yeah, I think I can think. Okay, I'm making it a point to piss me off a bit less, and it's working. But it's really in the driving. When people do not put signals, there's one thing. Yeah.
Driving?
Yeah, when driving. And actually the things in general, but I I tend to be a bit more understanding, like just now, or people just not driving well in the first place. Like just now I was driving and there was this lady in front of me that was at the traffic light, and the light was green. So like I was waiting, like, why are you not going? And my honk is not working, so I flash. There's like, why are you not going, bro? Then I had to like overtake her.
Welcome
and
to
then
Malaysia,
turn.
buddy.
Then apparently I see
Welcome
that.
to Malaysia, buddy.
Yeah.
This is why I prefer taking the public transport instead. But the public transport is a whole another set of bags. That I don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Never on time.
But
Yes,
yeah, even so
definitely.
that there's like my pet peeve, right? I tend to like justify. Okay, like, probably the person's having a bad day at work.
Oh,
on a
you're
very
too
long period.
nice. Oh.
I try to. Honestly, I try to do that because like I don't want to get.
Lazarus, you're a bit too tolerant. A bit too tolerant.
Okay, no, but here's my justification, because the thing is that if I don't want to spend like too much of my energy getting mad at the unnecessary things, because I see people like get road rage, and I don't want that. I really don't. And I used to like get road rage as well. Like,
Yeah.
and I really don't want to get like so angry at things that it's just literally passing me for like 5 seconds. So it's like, let it go, let it freaking go, man, let it go. You got better things to get mad about. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So peaceful.
This actually reminds me of that time when I drove Acacia back from our outing.
Yeah.
And she asked me, how do you handle road rages? Because there was this one time I was driving and a car just drove by while honking me at the same time. And I'm just like, okay. So she asked me, like, how do you handle road rage? So the way I answered is, I just don't rage.
Exactly.
Because if I rage, I know I lost. If he's angry, then let him be angry. I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset of being more superior than some human beings.
Okay, that's a superior complex.
Not superior, mature. Better word.
Good one, Val.
Alright,
Good one.
alright.
Okay, actually, sorry to cut that off again. Now that we're on this topic, I sort of remember. Okay, one of my pet peeves. Okay, this one I really cannot, because like entitled people who are very entitled, and they are like they have like something up their ass one, because bring
Dick.
oh
Yeah.
wow Asa.
Yeah.
Learning from Noemi
Wow.
Oh,
now.
sorry, Noemi's habit is rubbing off.
I wasn't even thinking it, bro. It was all you.
Yeah, but anyways, going back to the point, yeah, because like again, going back to the previous thing, I've been like serving in my condo's like managing committee for about like half a year now, And honestly, right, there's just a handful of people because we have like a WhatsApp group to communicate and stuff like that. And there is a handful of people that are really like just bringing issues up for the sake of bringing issues up, and like they are very like entitled lah. Really lack of better words, just a handful, but those really grinds my gears because like you're not contributing, and you're like trying to make things worse, or some of them they're trying to just make things go their way and only their way. I'm not gonna like, go into details, but there are people who are like this lah. So like, wow, I very need to
Plenty of
Yeah,
people.
so
Plenty of people like that.
Yeah, I think Noemi is the only one left.
I am the complete opposite of Lazarus. So many things piss me off. This is something I developed over COVID because I've been in a lot of Discord calls. But I hate it that I can hear your keyboard. I don't like when your noise suppression isn't on and I can hear the background noise. Like Discord noise suppression is so good. If I can hear it, that probably means you turned it off. And I don't understand why you would ever turn it off because now I can hear you whenever you're fucking playing games or anything. It just annoys me. I also hate when people voice act. I don't know, something about it irks me.
Wait, voice
Doesn't
act?
sit right with me.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like announcing announcer voices either. It's not just I don't like it when people mimic accents or voice acting characters or trying to sound very not podcast like, sorry, announcer like.
Okay.
What else?
That
Wow,
that's
that's
gonna
a-
be quite
wow.
difficult for you to like anything outside of anime though in that case.
I don't like it when I'm having a conversation with a group of people, suddenly they switch language and now they're talking in their own conversation and just excluded everyone else from the conversation.
That sounds like man, I had that experience, like I remember I was in a I was playing Dota in a party of 4 randoms, and I joined your voice call and they were talking in English at first. Now I was playing halfway, and then when during a team fight, they went from English to slowly driven into Filipino. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? Then when they say putang ina bobo, I'm like, alright, I got it.
This be me when in this scenarios. Whenever you play MOBAs or whenever you play almost any multiplayer game which is not with your friends, just mute, turn off everything, turn off voice chats.
I
turn off
always
text
keep it on
chats.
because it's sometimes really funny.
No, I mean, what's the point? You're just like, in my point of view, it's absolutely tiring to pay attention to whatever they speak. So I just turn it off.
Yeah.
And if they're shitting on me or if they're like calling me out on telling me I'm a noob, and I'm just be like, I'll ignore them, be the bigger person, and not care about the noob's complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
shit
agree,
on
I
them,
agree.
start ending the game.
Yeah, I know Noemi's that sort of person.
Oh man, I remember when this reminds me of the time when I introduced a new friend to play Dota, and when they did their first kill, I was like, okay, so here's what you do: you pause the game, you go into all chat, and you just type noob mid, and then wait for them to unpause the game, and you're officially a pro player.
Oh my god.
No, but okay, but on the topic of like muting, right? Because like I feel like it's okay, not exactly 50-50, but it's like a chance that there can be meaningful communications. But when there is none, right, I just mute it. If there's
I
no
would
chance of you
say
gonna mute
meaningful communication. Meaningful communication, in my point of view, very rarely happens in low elo. So just it's not worth it.
Really?
Like I'm level 21 in Valorant. I literally just reached level 21 the other day. And 90% of the people I play with are either noobs or people who are so incredibly toxic that I'm surprised that there are 100 levels and still this toxic or playing with noobs like me.
Gosh.
Like, I don't expect myself to one-tap people. Granted, I'm not good at the game. I know I'm a noob. But for somebody to actually like just straight out say you're a noob, and I'm like, I'm level 21. What did they expect from me? It's like saying how you're telling a child, hey kid, you suck at playing this game. And then the child was like, I'm a child. What exactly am I
Yeah.
supposed to do about it?
Yeah. That's fair, but I have I like to think that there is a glimmer of hope that it could happen because it does. But yeah,
Lazarus, you have too much
Yeah.
faith in humanity, my man. You have too much faith in humanity.
I agree with Lazarus for this one. It's whenever I play a game, I'm gonna go into the game not expecting everyone is toxic. I just go in the game hoping that my teammates are level-headed, and then we just play
Yeah.
normally. Cause I don't know, it's something about thinking positive, is a better choice. I think it really differs for different
Yeah,
people.
it's just a preference. But for me, like, but
Yeah.
if like I know that I cannot handle it anymore, you gotta mute, because if not, I'm gonna int. Like,
Yeah.
I know when Noemi mentioned just now, like she's the type of person that when I'm not having fun, you're not gonna have fun as well, right?
I go into every game thinking everyone is neutral, but kinda very, very slightly hoping they're toxic. Just so I could release some steam too, you know?
Oh my
to have a little
gosh.
bit more fun in a different way.
Oh
Like
no,
I'm
no.
not a toxic person anymore.
Noemi, don't worry. Everyone was toxic.
Confirm.
Everyone was toxic at one point.
Oh no, Noemi is the type to go to all chat and type GG easy.
Oh boy.
But obviously, I wouldn't do that to, you know, someone innocent. But if like I remember I played Apex with someone, and then I was introducing the game to someone new, and our third was a random. So our friend got knocked first, and then he started like shit talking, saying he's a noob, saying so bad and stuff like that. And I instantly hopped on the BC, be like, fuck up, bitch. Look at your damage. You're so bad. Honestly, just hide in the corner, rat. You do more damage than anyone right now. Oh my god. It's great. I love it.
I mean, that much is to be expected. That much is to be expected. You're gonna get karma for the toxicity you
I
put in.
will.
I don't know,
another.
man. It's so much more fun telling them like you do more damage by camping.
Yeah, it's just more exciting that way. But it's very nice when there's, you know, actually decent people who play the game and have good comms. It's like it feels like you struck gold.
True.
Oh, that's for sure.
When you're a decent person going into a rotten game, you want to hope there are people just like you. Unless you yourself are toxic, then that's a different
Then that's a
story.
whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother ball game right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So yeah, that was our podcast episodes. Thank you so much, Val, for coming to the podcast. It's really great to finally be able to sit down and talk with you officially outside of stream.
The pleasure is mine. I have had you on my stream at many times already at one point, but it's actually really refreshing to have an interview once in a while, you know?
Yeah, this will be a good episode, honestly, for people who want to know more about the Malaysian VTuber community and stuff.
I do hope that more people do get invited over to are more interested in becoming VTubers, but at the same time are not discouraged from talking from all of us here in MyVT, because all of us here are very talented people. We would love to find more Malaysian VTubers, given the opportunity, of course. And yeah, we just simply cannot wait to meet new people.
All right. I think it's the same for us, that we also would love to have more guests on our podcast. And we would love to know more about you guys also.
Yeah.
But just to let you guys know, this will be not the last time you're going to be seeing Val, because they will also be the first guest for our Twitch stream in the near future. So until then, I'm Azza.
I'm Lazarus.
I'm Noemi.
And I'm Valryia.
And let us tell you more about it in the next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
See
for
y'all.
listening in.